Hey everybody, it's your boy the Cho, Corey Ryan Forster here. First off, thank you to everybody that attended via the internet our Zoom show last weekend, WellRED, Home for the Holidays. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun. It still ain't the same, but genuinely, my spirits were very lifted, so really do appreciate y'all. I say can't wait to do it again. Honestly, hopefully, we're about to figure some shit out. Vaccine-wise, because I really miss you guys. Really would like to be out on the road. Until then, WellREDcomedy.com, WellRED comedy.com. That's where you can find out, whenever we do get to go back, it'll show you there. If you sign up for our newsletter, that's where you can find out everything, even before my dumb ass knows what's going on. You can also get our merch, which includes our book, The Liberal Redneck Manifesto, Dragging Dixie Out of the Dark, and also our album, WellRED Live from Lexington. While we're still in this BS pandemic situation, check out our sister podcast. I have Through the Screen Door with Corey Ryan Forster, a pop culture podcast with a southern twist. Drew has Into the Biscuit with DJ Lewis. And of course, Trae has The Evening Skews with Smart Mark Agee. As I speak, they're actually recording, doing their little live stream right now. So check those out and be safe. And don't do anything dumb, and enjoy this podcast. We love you. Bye. Skew.
They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They care way too much, but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks. That makes some people upset, but they got 3 big old dicks that you can suck.
Y'all good at buying presents? I'm notoriously terrible at buying presents, and it sucks because like Katie will laugh about it most of the time. I don't think she's ever liked a single present that I've ever gotten her, and like she will like laugh it off, but she like, I don't know, I still have to do it. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not that I don't want to. I actually like giving gifts. Everybody that knows me well knows that I'm pretty bad at it a lot of the times, and like especially her. So that's the only reason I don't want to do it.
No,
because it's always been bad, and I know it's going to be bad again. And it's like, can we come up with some other arrangement so we can just avoid me getting upset when you don't like what I do, which we both know is going to happen. And it's torture every time.
Me and Amber don't do Christmas. That is our Christmas gift to each other. Yeah. Is, hey, you don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about it because we're already dealing with everybody else. We just do birthdays. But that being said, like, yes, and I feel, and maybe I'm wrong, but like I always feel like since I'm a creative person, there's like this perception that like, oh, you should be really good at getting gifts because you have a really good imagination and you claim to understand people and yada yada yada. And I always every year. Me and getting Christmas presents for people is like, I go into it the exact same way as I do fantasy football, which is like this year, it's going to be the one. Like, I'm going to fucking crush it. I'm going to pay attention all year. Matter of fact, I'm going to just throughout the year buy presents for people instead of waiting until the end so I'm not stressed. When I see something that reminds me of somebody, I'm going to fucking do it. And then I end up not doing that. But I end up getting everybody's shit and thinking, dude, I finally done it. And then day of when they're opening them, I'm like, this is garbage. Like everyone here has done such a good, thoughtful job. What the fuck is your problem? I don't have a good example. It's just they never hit, and nobody tells me, but they don't hit.
I bet they do hit.
No, they don't hit.
I bet that this is another one of those examples of like a lot of self-hate is just narcissism.
Right.
You know, like everyone hates me, and it's like no one's thinking about you. I bet everyone likes I bet everyone likes your gift, but you're just like, it's like an anxiety. It's a neuroses.
Maybe. I only have started feeling this way since me and Amber have been together, and coincidentally,
women will do that to you.
No, I know, but it's because, in my opinion, she's like the greatest gift giver of all time. Like she will get me she'll get me something that like I forgot that I had mentioned in past. Like I almost cry. Even I'll just be like, oh my God, you remembered. And it's just like she does, instead of doing like one big thing, she does like 5 little things that are like thematic. And it's just really good. And I always think, I'm like, I feel,
it tells a story.
It tells a story. And I'm like, I mean, I bought her a phone, but like shit.
That's
That
really
ain't-
sweet.
Yeah, I know. No, I know it is. Like, it's like, and I think that's why I feel so insecure about it. Cause I'm like, God damn, like this
Well,
otherwise boring waste of breath really did something.
Maybe that's why you don't know how to get her a gift. Is you
Right.
call her a boring waste of breath.
I was hoping that she could hear me and yell at me, but sorry.
I think I'm medium at it, Trey. I think I'm really good at getting Andy gifts. I'm pretty good at getting my dad gifts when no one else is. Never know what the fuck to get my mother. With teenagers, I've been 50-50 with
Oh my God.
John and Jacob and Maddox. Yeah, those my nephews and niece. Yeah, I think I'm 50-50. Maybe it depends on the person. I don't know.
Yeah, LJ's at the age where I'm crushing it, but just
Oh
because.
yeah, I guess I should probably say I'm not at all including the boys in that because same thing there.
Yeah,
I mean,
like I could
easy.
get
Just-
for
I
the
can
next
just
2
get them
years.
cool shit, and that's fine.
Yeah, I could.
Well,
just
even
get
with
her-
adults. Oh,
no, go ahead.
I think I'm 50-50, but I just realized maybe I need to drop it down to 60-40, 60 being bad, because just as one example, I thought of the greatest gift for my mother-in-law this year, and I'm 99% sure we didn't do that because I just told Andy it was a good idea and then forgot about it. Like, oh shit, and that's shitty. Like, thinking of the good gift is only half of it. You have to buy it.
Yeah, it's not true. It's not actually the thought that counts when you really break it down. Like, you can't just show up at Christmas and be like, imagine this.
I
Doesn't
think
really
I get
work.
it from my mom. My mom's 50-50. My mom is one of the most thoughtful people in the world, and she puts a lot of thought into gifts. Because of that, when she nails it, it is so unbelievably great.
Yeah.
She got me a custom-made denim jacket with the End of the Biscuit logo on the back.
That's awesome.
But even though she's really thoughtful, she blows it sometimes because she's extremely corny.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
she's like, this gift is perfect for Andy. And I'm like, this gift says on it literally all the things Andy is into, but she doesn't just want to put up a sign that says "Aunt love hippie rock and roll."
Right,
Like, that's not
Yeah, my mom, I maintain that she's really good too. Like, we just had my birthday and I was like, Mom, you always crush it. And she told me and has always told me, she's like, honestly, I don't think I do with everyone, but you are the easiest person to get gifts for because you wear, like, if I'm into something, I fucking tell everyone that shit. Like, there's no secrets. And I get, and like, I get super, super into stuff. You know how I do. Like, I binge on things and I just get insanely hype about stuff. Like, I will fucking show out. Like, Amber got me a pair of socks that has Chewbacca wearing a do-rag and it says Tupaca, and I fucking turned up for them socks just like I would if you bought me a fucking Lexus or something like that. But like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then it turns around, I suck at getting gifts and I feel bad.
Yeah, remember how I was saying like it's real easy to get my 8 and 9-year-old sons gifts?
Yes,
It's like that.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
like that.
It is like that.
Yeah, right.
It
Yeah.
really, like, it really truly is. Like, Amber
Yeah.
got me this fucking like glass drinking horn thing. I
Mhm.
fucking love it so much. It's the greatest thing in the world. Like, I'm happy for years.
Yeah.
I got you a $200 drinking horn. You seem to have lost it. It's no big
No,
deal.
it's
though.
displayed on my office up there. Do I
just
still
kidding.
have yours, by the way?
Mine personally or Trae's?
Yeah, or did I give it back to you? Or did you get
I
it when you
got
came to my
mine at
house?
some point. Yeah.
I have lost mine a long time ago, but I didn't. The boys loved that thing and took to it immediately, which
Yeah.
I told you about the time and you thought that was cool, and it was cool, but God
And they
knows
ruined it.
where
Yeah.
it actually is now. I mean, it's buried in
melted.
it's buried in their room somewhere.
Yeah.
But they kind of just confiscated mine immediately.
I love that.
because it was so cool. But anyway,
Do you even have anything that's yours anymore? Or is it all just become Katie's or theirs?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the latter pretty much. I don't really.
Literally a ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, like my issue.
Get off that, boys.
No,
What,
I don't.
big piece of chicken. That's what Dad gets.
I make
That's it.
Katie go up the ladder, like when we did the Christmas lights and stuff. I
Yeah.
hold it, send her ass up there.
Me too. Me too. And my fucking buddies drove by. She cleaned out our
Yeah.
gutters last week, and I held.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking I'm terrified of heights though. Like, on God.
I'm scared of heights too, but and I'm not just saying this. Like the way Katie, I have to like force her. We almost have a fight in me forcing her to allow me to be the one who climbs the goddamn ladder because she's got such a thing about, and I know this is fucked up. So we talked last week about how, like, she thinks I don't know how to do shit and I won't do any manly shit or fix anything. She does think that, But the flip side of that I didn't tell y'all last week, which is also true, is that like she eats that shit up.
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah.
the other side of that is that she does a lot of it, and she's so proud of the fact that she loves to tell everybody that she is the handy person around the house and she's the one that fixes stuff or whatever. And again, I'm always like, you're not telling the whole context or the whole story here. And she doesn't. But anyway, the ladder is a thing like that. Like I'll be starting to be like, I have to like force her to let me get up there and do a couple strands of lights just so I can say that I did something, because she don't want to allow me to do it. She's like, no, you don't know how to do it. You'll fuck it up. I do it. Let me do it. I'm gonna do it. So it's Amber
genuinely loves getting drunk and going up on the roof. Like, honestly, like it really hits for her, because I get her up on the ladder and then she just stays on the roof and she just texts me when to come get her, like move the ladder over the other side. But like, I'm terrified of heights, but like all my buddies driving by, they see her up there knowing my fat ass is in, and like, I can't flag all of them down and be like, yo, it's a genuine phobia. I would do it, but she likes it. So like, yeah, I'm just the fucking pussy. Like nobody ever hears my side.
Yeah. Sorry, Katie's texting me right now. What are you doing up there? Probably wants to pretend she wants me to do something. She wants me to come watch her do something so she can talk about it later.
Yeah.
Well, while you check on that, I thought of one more thing about gift giving. This is a perfect example of who I am as a gift giver. I thought of the greatest gift for Andy this year. It's a telescope. I'm going to get her a nice but beginner's telescope. She's very into the stars. She loves the idea. It's not going to be here till like the end of January, 6 weeks after her birthday and a month after Christmas, because I thought of it, but just didn't do shit about it.
Well, see, I think that hits because, and let me tell you why, because that happened to me one year with something like my dad fucked around and forgot that, like, oh shit, sometimes stuff takes a long time to deliver on Christmas. And so, I got a couple Christmas gifts and then he like apologized to me and I was like, oh, it's okay. And then 3 weeks later, I done forgot that shit. And then boom, Christmas again. And Andy's a cho. So like, it might not hit for her right now, but she will be so fucking happy when she gets a double Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah. She's already worked it out to get double too, because on the 21st, Venus and Saturn, I think, are going to be real close together. So
Saturnalia.
Yes,
very important. Yes.
We're renting a telescope for Saturnalia.
Is that like,
is it really Saturnalia, or is that
fucking no?
Well, I know. I think, because I looked it up for one of the Christmas jokes I did, but like last year, Saturnalia is some kind of hippie type something that happens
like a solstice?
Generally around Christmas time.
Okay.
But I don't know anything about it beyond that.
Does
or at
it
least
actually
that's what
hit?
I thought it would. No, I don't know.
If you have a telescope, I would imagine yes.
Oh, you're December 21st.
That's when black people get all their superpowers. That's a meme from Twitter.
It's winter equinox is what that is, right?
It is also that, but it has
shortest day of the year. No,
related to that, or maybe not even. Two planets, I think it's Saturn and Venus. It might be Saturn and Jupiter, are the closest together they ever are during the year. And this year, it's the closest they've ever been in like 400 years. So if you have a telescope, they'll look right beside each other.
So
okay,
like
I mean that's cool. I'm super into that actually.
Can you see the rings?
I may come over. In fact, if you're gonna have a telescope, fucking. I said
understanding
equinox.
Is yes with the one we're trying to get.
Right,
it's winter
solstice. Right,
solstice. Summer and winter are solstices. Spring and fall are equinoxi, or whatever, and they are the first days of each of those seasons, and they all fall on the 21st. I know because my wedding anniversary is summer solstice, June 21st.
Lucky.
It was always hot as hell in the South, but
right. I just meant you can remember
the telescope thing. Here's another kind of funny Katie story. I was a little bit high the other night. Do you remember when I texted y'all about, and you'd already seen it, and you were just about to text about it when I texted about the moon having a halo?
Yeah.
I don't know if this was happening in Georgia, Corey. You were asleep already. I don't know if this was everybody's moon, just the West Coast moon, because I don't know enough to know how it works.
Two moons?
I'd venture to say I had a buddy named Two Moons in Yellowstone. Two Moons, Thoreen. I would venture to say it was just y'all, and I said it because DJ didn't say nothing about it. You know what I mean? And that motherfucker always hollered.
He does, but he also goes to bed
Me
at
and-
like fucking 8.
But
Me and him
Katie-
actually have like the same schedule. Like we go to bed super early and we're both up at like 4:30 in the morning. Like, I hear you, buddy. These
Yeah.
motherfuckers are wild.
So,
It's weird how
okay,
you need
so
sleep after you did meth throughout your 20s.
another
Was Two
ongoing
Moons native, or was he just like one of those hippie kids?
Hippie. Yeah. I mean,
hilarious.
he was like, he wasn't like one of them like Breckenridge kids, if that's what you mean. Like Two Moons had street cred. Like,
I just want to know if he was Native American or a dude who did a lot of drugs.
Dude, I'm certain that like somebody in his family was a 16th. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But like, no, son, he looks like Mario Batali. Two Moons does. And he looks.
Two Moons Batali.
They're
He had-
his
he look-
cheeks.
He looked like Mario Batali, except for he had super fucking curly hair. And my man's was the chef at Yellowstone.
Well,
Luna. That's
that all
Italian
has-
for moon,
so
right? Luna
here's-
Batali.
Yeah, and he was
Another-
awesome. Two Moons. If you're listening, holler at me, dude. It's been 12 years.
Hell, holler at me too, man.
Yeah.
Goddamn. Sounds like
He's
he
like,
hits.
Andy's like, he already hollered at me. We hang out a lot.
Yeah, she been knowing Two Moons. But anyway, real quick, another ongoing thing with me and Katie is like, she's always showing me stuff, typically on her phone, memes and whatnot, half of which I roll my eyes at. Other half are pretty good, but a lot of them roll my eyes at. So that's like a running joke with us too. And so this night we was watching our stories on the TV there. I had like my 1/4 of a weed gummy, and she goes, pause this, I need to show you something. So of course, immediately I'm like, do I have
Hate
to
that.
pause it? Just
Oh
don't,
my God.
like,
At least she says pause it before she just starts doing it.
right. And she's like, no, she's like, just pause. She like gets the remote, pauses it. She's like, come here. And now she gets up and walks out the door. And I was like, really? Like it just like to me, it just keeps getting worse. I'm like, oh, I got to get up. I got to go outside. I thought I was just going to watch a video from Waynesboro Facebook or something. This is the whole thing. And she's like, just get out here. And I'm like, I be. And I drag myself out on the front porch, and she's like, check that out. And I look up, and immediately my entire everything changes, because the fucking moon has a halo. For those of y'all that didn't see it, the moon's bright as hell right in the center, and there's a very clearly defined like ethereal halo, like a ring of light,
Moon ring
encircling the entire moon. And that shit was wild. Like immediately
so
I was like, what? I completely
Yeah.
changed my tone. I pulled my phone. I was like, oh my God, I was like the double rainbow guy. And so then she made fun of me for being like too into it. You know what I mean?
That's so
It's a
funny.
fine line.
Like you just it's a very fine line. Like
Look
it
at
was
this
a
motherfucker
huge
happy.
hit. It was a huge hit on her part, but it was too much of a hit. Yeah, Drew's showing a picture of it. Look at that. You can even see on like cell phone pictures how wild it looks. Looks like
It looked like a moon
eye.
titty.
big
Oh, it
eye
does.
or a moon titty. Yes. Or
Maybe
that,
this is basic, and I've surely, because I've seen that's happened before, that I've maybe not like that intense, but like what is it that how it do that?
I'll have to, Katie looked it up that night. I'll have to look it up too.
I figured your
Let me see
nerd
real
ass
quick.
would have went and
Well,
did
again,
1,000
I
words
did
on it
that-
already.
I was out of sorts that night, man.
No, yeah,
I
that's-
was-
Yeah,
let's
because you
see
got
here.
to be high too. Mm.
yeah, right.
I bet if he was high, he could remember it.
This is it. A 22-degree halo is an optical phenomenon that belongs to the family of ice crystal halos. Its form is a ring with an apparent radius of approximately 22 degrees around the sun or the moon. When visible around the moon, it's called a moon ring or winter halo. I combined the two and got it wrong. It forms as direct sunlight or moonlight is refracted in millions of hexagonal ice crystals suspended in the atmosphere.
So rain clouds.
And this says, but this has got to be very dependent on where you are in the world, like in colder areas or something. Because I've literally never seen one of these that I can remember. But this says a 22-degree halo may be visible on as many as 100 days per year, much more frequently than rainbows. But that part's hard for me to believe.
No, I mean,
I
I've
don't
seen it
know.
before, but not a lot.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
I've also seen smaller ones, so I don't understand the 22-degree thing. Does it not matter where the ice crystals are? Because what was so impressive about that one was how huge it was. I feel like I've seen a moon ring smaller and less defined than that night before.
Well, I think I'm pulling out of my ass, and I'm also not calling you a liar. But I think if you think about how like these ice crystals, they form in a certain level of the atmosphere, right?
Okay.
That is always the same distance from you on the ground as the ant that you are. And also the moon be where the moon be. So
Right.
They do
Yeah.
move,
Right.
though.
follow what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it seems like it would be uniform to me because the dimensions, the
Isn't its orbit-
distances don't change.
Isn't its orbit slightly elliptical?
I don't know. Maybe I know ours be the Earth's be. A lot
So
of things
it might be closer. But I hear what you're saying, but the ice crystals, it seems like they could be lower or higher in the atmosphere, which should change where I see it in relation to myself. Does that make sense?
As light passes through the 60-degree apex angle of the hexagonal ice prisms, it's deflected twice, resulting in deviation angles ranging from 22 to 50 degrees. So it can deviate. Yes. And it has to do with how the light bends when you're looking at it. Apparently.
As I pulled that out of my house, I tried to smoke this vape backwards.
Heads.
Yeah.
Hey,
So,
were
I don't know.
you, I think I know the answer to this question, Trae, but like, was you super into like stars and shit when you was a kid?
Oh my God. Yes.
Was it like a
Space,
smart
stars,
thing or a
black
like
holes? I mean, of course, I think it's a smart thing.
Well, I know. I
It
didn't
might-
know if it was just like a just anywhere but here. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, yeah, to be fair, maybe.
They're smart.
Lay there listening to Be Like That by Three Doors Down.
oh my
thinking,
God.
Me and the guy from Three Doors Down, we're looking at the same stars tonight in the
No,
sky.
that's- well, because
I don't know.
when I was a kid, like I fucking loved it when our school would go to the planetarium, and like I really, and when I mean kid, I mean like elementary school kid, and like I loved it when we'd go to the science lab, and then like, dude, I changed schools, and like, you know, when you change schools, like you're trying to like, you know, be popular and get like fit in or whatever. I like overcorrected, and that's when I truly found out how funny I could be, and then that was it. And I was like, fuck school, and like, but I didn't retain none of
Who
that.
needs stars? I got bitches. Woo!
I know. Like, it never, like, it's not like in my mind all that stuff stopped hitting for me, but it was like I couldn't take time away from hitting to do my work because I was hitting so hard. And so like I'm always like, God damn, I can't wait to get back into this shit with my kids. Because like right now, I'm not just gonna go read about stars.
So I would say that I'm still very into it. You know, like it still very much hits for me.
Yeah.
I don't know as many just like offhand facts about it as I did when I was a kid, because I was that type of
I knew him.
fat
I knew
little
all that
nerdy
shit.
dorky kid.
Like,
I used
boom,
to like parrot, right? I used to parrot like facts and stuff that I would learn about subjects that hit for me or whatever. I can't do that anymore when it comes to space. I mean, maybe some of it, but like not to that degree. But I'm still very nerdy about space and all things space. And I'm about to take this to a really raven place that I'm actually glad you brought this up. So I've had the thought before when it comes to space. This is about to be so me when I get to my ultimate conclusion here, which will take 15 minutes. Also,
that's fine.
Me.
Let it rip.
I've always been very into space, extremely, and because of that, like I progressively read more and more about like physics and astronomy and just space, the science of space and things like that, right? And there was a time when I was in my like early 20s, probably, where I've long since moved past this, accepted my limitations. But there was a time when I really, really wanted to like really understand physics and like wanted to understand as much as possible about black holes and fucking string theory and all this type of stuff. Like I desperately wanted to. And I got all these books and I would read these books and whatever. And here's what I'm getting at. There was always a point where I would like, I literally couldn't. Like I could tell, I had to reach a point, and I would always consider myself very smart.
Right. And it frustrated you that you couldn't figure something out.
Oh, it frustrated the shit out of me because I would always reach a certain point where I had to accept, I was like, this is literally, this is
God. Yeah.
This is beyond me. Like this is beyond my capacity to understand this. No matter what I do, I cannot
algebra,
wrap
dude.
my brain around this. And here's the raven part. I thought later, like, is that how dumb people be about like, I don't know, universal health care or whatever. All these
really
other subjects that like I can't understand.
Take away
how
the self-awareness.
I can't. Right. But I'm saying like literally certain subjects, their brains cannot grasp it or, understand it.
I know what you mean, but you're just defining dumb.
I know how it sounds, but I'm saying
they get so frustrated and mad. And like, at least with you, it took metaphysics and string theory.
Right. But also I know exactly how that feels is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We all
know how it feels to be dumb. Once you get to like, I was about to say, once you get to fucking Christopher Hitchens, the last paragraph in his third blah, 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 I'm like, you know what? This is a bit much. Yeah. But no, I mean, that bit about you
it was going to be Super Raven, and I know it is Super Raven, but I'm saying though, like, that makes sense? Y'all know what I'm saying? Is that how it is?
Yeah. Like I literally had the same experience with both physics and black holes, and related to physics, some kinds of math. There was a
math. Well, math was always part of this for me, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that the physics, you could do a lot of it with a teacher.
Yeah.
You are probably quite used to figuring things out on your own. And if you had a course in it, you would probably be able to wrap your head around at least some of it. I think it's one of those things like a language where it would just start clicking and then click more. Yeah. I don't want to necessarily.
I'm number dumb. Like literally I had to go take a test and I have a learning disability where numbers to me is the same as what words are to a dyslexic person. Like they literally sometimes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like when I look at them, they will like fucking just all jumble together. And like, I can do it, but I really like, thank God for fucking that calculator is just a thing. But
Andy's like that.
But like, I know and can tell you how to do all sorts of things. But like, once I go to actually sit there and do it, looking at the numbers, my fucking brain fries. And like, I could never, ever do it at any type of speed. And then I would just get so fucking frustrated. And now I don't give a shit because literally any type of math that I ever need to do can be done on a calculator. So it's fine. But I never knew what was going on because every other, like I was a smart kid. I could make A's in whatever I wanted to, like, slack off and do, but like math, like always was just like, I was like, I don't get it. Like this dude sitting here beside me is one of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever met. And he's fucking smoking it and I can't do it. And it's like, they just like jumble together and I just can't, something shuts off. Don't hit.
Math and cleaning gutters. It ain't your thing, man. No,
but I'm literally number dumb.
You and Andy's personalities is like the biggest argument for I forget what it's called. Astrology. And she just said it from the kitchen. And it makes me mad as hell.
Well, fuck that bullshit. Did you hear that, Andy?
She did not.
Okay.
Dude,
with all these goddamn
Corey,
things. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, you said you don't want to just go study about stars. You're waiting on having kids. You like watch wrestling, read comic books, watch Doctor Who. Like, I mean, that hits for me, but like, what's the difference here?
I want to do those things way more than I want to read about stars.
Okay.
And so I don't have time in my my also another point is like, I know I will eventually get to stars with them. So why get ahead? You know what I mean? Like,
fast forward 6 years. Well, Star Wars counts, guys. Star might as well.
Yeah. But like, there's certain things that I'm just like, I'm excited to relearn more about, because Georgia history was one of my favorite subjects. And I mean, all history was, but then I think sometimes like, I can't wait to reread all that stuff with my kids. And I'm like, hey, you could just do it now. And I'm like, why? I'm going to do it then. Like, why the fuck would I, you know what I mean? Like, why would I waste it? But yes, like right now I'm way more into fictitious stars.
I've got another kind of trippy brain thing that was on my list. So it seems like a well enough place to throw it in there.
Good.
Just how I don't know. Our brains is wild, right?
Yes, they are. They don't hit.
Brains is wild. It's hard to parse the brain, how it works. So like it's a small thing, but it was just kind of trippy. It happened last night while watching Netflix, and it happened to me and Katie at the same time without us realizing that it happened to the other one. It made us both feel dumb at first. We're watching a show. Ever since we've had children, we watch everything with the subtitles on because like it just made it easier to we didn't have to crank the volume
Yeah.
up when they were asleep, but we didn't have to miss any dialogue.
I do if it's not a comedy.
We don't
on
have
everything.
to do that anymore, but we just got in the habit and never stopped. And honestly,
like
it kind of hits for me now. Yeah.
As long as it's not a comedy, I can't do it on comedy. But
Right, which is fair because it ruins the punchline. But so anyways, having said that, we're watching a show last night that we just started on HBO Max called The Flight Attendant. We're only a couple episodes.
Oh, is it good?
in.
Kelly Kuko?
It's you know, it's
Fine
a
for you and her.
murder mystery type thing. So like,
Yeah.
to be determined, but it ain't bad. It's, you know, hold your interest and all that for sure. But we're just getting started. There was a scene of dialogue where two characters repeated a little like flight attendant slogan to each other, and it was "new route, new me," right? Which means like put that old shit behind you, basically. But
like route. I'm not correct.
yeah, they both pronounced it route, but yes, like route, new, but they both pronounced it route. They both pronounced it the same way. New route, new me. First flight attendant said it, but when she said it, they subtitled it wrong. I don't know why.
ROOT.
No, they subtitled it as parentheses, speaking foreign language. Okay. And then, so I was like, the fuck she just say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she said, new route, new me, but I saw speaking foreign language. And I was like, what was that? What's she doing? And then when the other girl repeated it back to her and she said, new route, new me, my brain went,
New route.
oh, she said it, like it made it make sense to me after the fact. Whereas if I hadn't read that, if that subtitle hadn't said that, I'm sure I would have understood it.
Of course.
No problem. But because because my brain read, this is a foreign language, even though it wasn't, it's the language I've spoken since birth and not a complicated form of it or anything. My brain still couldn't understand it. Because it wasn't in like English mode. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I do.
It's just,
have
it's
you
weird.
seen those TikToks where someone says the same exact phrase, but they write a different phrase?
Yeah.
So they say, so it's the same. It's not just the same phrase. It's a repeated clip.
Yeah.
I can't think of a phrase. Let's say it's, I don't know, cellar door, and they say cellar door, and then they say it twice, and the word cellar door,
whatever you
pops up.
read,
And then the next time it's something else, and you fucking hear the other
It's
phrase.
crazy.
Like
Right.
100% you hear it.
That fucking what was that one that got popular like right around the blue dress shit?
I can't remember it, man.
But it was
Yanni
fucking
and
Yanni
and something. What was the other thing?
Yeah, and it was one of those two where I had the same experience like with the blue and the white dress. If I was drunk, I saw it one way, and if I was sober, I saw it the other way. Laurel. And Laurel and Yanni was this, and it was the same way. Every now and then I would hear it different depending on the fucking state of mind I was in. Which, like, I think drunk, like it with the dress thing, it was all about the cones in your eyes or some shit. And when you're drunk, you know, you see double and your vision's. I mean, that makes fucking sense. But like,
your cones are fucked up.
Yeah, the cones don't hit. But yeah, that shit, man. Like, goddamn, like that bugs me the fuck out. Like,
yeah, I'm like, yes, your brain can like.
Trick itself.
Itself. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Trick it's like the exact same input or data or whatever can be interpreted completely differently depending on like the context or whatever. And it just makes you wonder how many times some version of that has happened, but it wasn't pointed out to you, or you never even realized that it had happened. You know what I mean? Like how susceptible we are to like.
And you punched your friend for no reason.
Conditioning.
You never spoke to him again.
Right. Well, you know.
No, for real though. Like I think about that with like repressed memories too. Like you'll hear somebody that, like they go to therapy and like, you know, they're 40-something years old, and all of a sudden, like they're like, holy shit, I was fucking molested or what? Like, and they genuinely push that shit down so hard that they didn't even fucking remember that. Like I'm always worried, like one day I'm gonna just figure out I did some shit at 9 that really don't hit for me, because my brain is so good at like, I'm gonna protect you right now, but like, dog, it for real can do that. Like it's crazy. I'm in no way saying that I think any of that has gone on with me, but I also have always worried about that too, because I had, you know, bit of a rocky childhood.
Right, and according to Paige has straight up said for years that she knows for a fact that I have repressed a lot of shit from our childhood, and that don't hit for me.
Oh, I'm sure that
you were just saying, like,
yeah.
I'm worried it's parts of it are just going to come flooding back at 45 or whatever the fuck, and then I'll have that to deal with too.
That's the only part that don't hit right for you is like that it might come back.
Yeah, yes, I'm fine with not
I love that. I love the
right.
idea that your brain hits so much that it can do that. And I mean, God, Trae's brain, there's no telling what it can do. So like that,
bunch of not hitting stuff.
You have this mechanism, because like I definitely think that's an important thing for like it probably, like, if something did happen, it's like, well, you got to have a good childhood because your brain shut that one off and you didn't think about it every day. But like, yeah, dog, like the thought of being 50 and going to a therapist and something just clicked, and now all of a sudden you've got to live with the fact that your entire worldview is completely different.
Listen, don't get us wrong, guys. Don't get us wrong. Yeah. You should go to therapy. It's a good thing to do.
That's true.
We're not trying to imply otherwise. That's exactly what you should do. Is you should go to therapy. And, you know, it's difficult to know how to go about it. People typically say, oh, it's too expensive. But, you know, how much you spend on your coffee every day? Or another pair of sweatpants that you don't need. But, I mean, who can have enough sweatpants? But still, is that stuff more important than your mental health? Well, with Talkspace, you can take care of your mental health without dipping into your savings account.
Yeah, guys, right now we're all full-time workers, chefs, housekeepers, teachers, babysitters, comedians, podcasters, all that. And we're in our own homes. We're trying to keep everyone on their normal routines along with ours. It's not easy to prioritize yourself, but your mental health and well-being plays a critical role in showing up as your best self for others. If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, which, as we just talked about, it's very easy to do, then you're a human being. There's a whole lot to be anxious about between the 24/7 news cycle, the pandemic, the divisive politics. We need to take care of our mental health and work through our emotions with a licensed therapist.
And that's why Talkspace is making therapy affordable and accessible for all, because we all need extra support to feel our best. Talkspace has thousands of licensed therapists trained in over 40 specialties, including anxiety, check, depression, check, relationships, check, and more. So no matter what, Talkspace will find the right therapist to help you achieve your goals.
Yes, it's affordable. It's a fraction of the cost of in-person therapy. You don't have to wait for an appointment. You could send unlimited messages to your therapist 24/7. They'll engage with you daily, 5 days a week. Talkspace covers 40 million people for online therapy through their insurance or employer. So you can find out if you're eligible at Talkspace.com/insurance. Got thousands of licensed therapists with years of experience and over 40 specialties on their network, including depression, anxiety, substance abuse, trauma, anger management, relationship issues, food and eating, Cho, and so much more.
Ooh.
Listen, talking to my friends is very different from talking to a licensed therapist who has the expertise and knowledge to give me practical guidance, and we all know it to be true. Talkspace gives us the support we need at an affordable price. And as a listener of this podcast, you get $100 off of your first month with Talkspace. $100 off first month to match with a licensed therapist today. Go to Talkspace.com or download the app. Make sure to use the code WellRED, WellRED, to get $100 off your first month and show your support for our show. That's WellRED, WellRED, and Talkspace.com. Thank you, Talkspace.
Absolutely. It's a great deal, guys. Do it to it.
Yeah, I don't know how to relate this to all the brain stuff. You know what else gets in your brain? Nicotine.
Sure does.
Lucy Nicotine is a company founded by scientists at Caltech and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, a tobacco alternative that don't suck. They researched and developed it for 3 years to be made for people, not patients. They've got multiple flavors: wintergreen, cinnamon, pomegranate. They all hit. Also, if you're more of the lozenge persuasion, you can get 4 milligrams of nicotine in lozenge form and cherry ice flavor. All the flavors hit. All of it hits. What do you think about it, Cho?
I think it's absolutely tremendous. I was more of a pomegranate man, but as I've said on this many times, I actually don't use nicotine at all anymore, and haven't for like, I want to say like 15 or so weeks now, thanks to my friends at Lucy. I didn't even realize I was quitting. I was enjoying the gum, and the next thing you know, weigh myself off. So great shit. Couldn't recommend it more. And here's the deal, guys. Nicotine does hit. So if you're going to do it, I mean, why not have a delicious tasting gum? It is very delicious. I love all the flavors. It's 2020. Get rid of them cigarettes, unplug your vape, throw out your dip, and get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. Here's the deal, guys. A subscription to Lucy comes directly to your door each month. So you ain't even got to do shit. It's so simple. And you don't have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down. WellRED listeners, go to lucy.co, not com, lucy.co, and use promo code RED, R-E-D, to get 20% off all products, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co, promo code RED at checkout. And also, I must give this disclaimer, warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Lucy.co, and be sure to use the promo code RED for that sweet, sweet nicotine.
Yep. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Talkspace. Back to the action. Brains.
Don't hit.
Brains. Don't hit.
No, but they do hit so hard.
Yeah.
They're like the internet in that way. Like
They're like the internet in a lot of ways.
well, yeah, for sure. But it's like every time I think, I'm like, God damn it, it's so complicated. It don't hit, and my brain constantly tries to kill me. And then I'm like, it's just neat that it's even capable of that. You know, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like the same thing. I can remember a sweet potato casserole recipe and a set of titties I saw when I was 20 right beside each other, which again, kind of like
and that time I said something weird in front of somebody who I didn't think respected me.
Yeah.
Trey, I know that you had that. That was a joke from The Void, your critically acclaimed short film. But dog, especially since you put that in there, like I think about it even more. Yeah, thank you. But like, dude, it's like that cliche meme. Like my head will hit the pillow and I'm right about to fall asleep, and my brain will just be like, "You remember third grade when you farted?" And you know, I'm like, "God damn it!" But it's fucking it. Really, the brain is something else, and it don't hit.
No, it don't
hit.
I got something that I think will be controversial for Cho here. Very, very, very different topic.
Okay.
Also, I
about to talk shit about pork.
Kind of. Except yes, I would.
What?
I would never. No, but I feel like you might respond to what I am going to talk shit about in a similar fashion. Also, I can't think who, like, probably Jim Gaffigan and maybe multiple more have had bits about this, and I'm acknowledging that. I just want to talk about it for a minute. Like, how egregious and much of an affront to God is the fucking bread bowl? Like, I'm
not for it. I'm not.
Okay, all right.
I like a good bread bowl.
Okay, excuse me. Allow me for a second, because I'm afraid people are just going to hear me say I'm not for it and then move on.
Yeah.
Obviously, if that's what I'm being served, like if I go over to someone's house and they have made a nice bread bowl for the soup in, it doesn't make the soup worse. The soup still tastes fine, and every now and then you get that bottom of the bread. Obviously, it's good. It's just that I leave so much bread on the table when that happens, because I'm not gonna eat all that. Like, there's
of course it's a loaf. It's a whole loaf of bread, round loaf of bread per person.
Two things could happen in that situation. Either I leave a lot and then I feel like a coward, or I feel bad for the people that made it, or I feel so bad that I do eat it all and then say goodbye to my day. But I would much rather have a bowl of soup and just one piece of bread cut into a triangle, toasted. That's what I would prefer. But again, like, if you fucking make me a goddamn personal pot. Well, yeah. What? You don't cut them in triangles?
It's just funny that's how specific the preferences are.
It hits harder the optimal like dipping variety of toast.
For sure.
You know, if you're gonna, now I'm a crackers man when it comes to soup.
Me too. It's both.
But yes, if you are talking bread, yes, toasted bread. If it's gonna be dipped into anything, triangles is what's up. Because even after you dip one of the skinny ends and you bite it, now you've got two other like skinny ends that you can dip in succession, and it does make sense. But Drew, you're pro bread bowl.
Well, I was thinking about it. I mean, I get soup with a bread roll instead of bread bowls all the time. So that's absolutely my preference 90% of the time. I've gotten bread bowls when I'm really hungry. I don't finish them, and I don't feel bad about not finishing them, because I mean, like, it's bread. It costs 38 cents to make. You know what I mean? I guess I'm just very pro wet bread. As a phrase, it's so gross. But really in reality, gravy biscuits, a real saucy pizza, bread sticks, dipping bread in a soup. So much of my favorite foods are a version of wet bread that I can't just be against bread bowls. But I guess if I'm honest, I prefer to just dip bread into the soup,
It's
but I don't
just-
find them egregious.
Okay, really? Because
I
that's
think
what I was
it's
about to say. It's like
egregious.
my whole
Well,
thing.
I
My whole
think it
thing
was
with
like-
them is like it's so. I don't even know. It may have been the goddamn French for all I know, but it just seems
They're
like the
wild like that.
ultimate. It just seems like the ultimate in like fat American like excess with food, like
Yeah.
fucking just soup is like. First of all, soup is a lot of times basically an appetizer in America,
Right.
before the main course.
Yeah.
And you just just get rid of the serving vessel entire, make that to where we'd like to eat that too. Like, what would hit
Okay.
is if we could
Eat the
eat
bowl.
all of this and
Yeah.
not have to not eat any of it. It's pissing me off that I got to sit here and not eat what this is in.
All right.
When I
well,
could be eating that too, god damn it. This is America. Like that's how it feels to me. And that's why
Me
I think
too.
it's egregious.
I always assumed it was like dock workers, like it was quick and they needed more food back in when,
I don't think it's quick to make a bowl out of bread.
Yeah, it was at a time though when everybody was eating bread for 5 meals in a row.
That's fair.
So anyway, I just looked it up. The first known writing of a bread bowl was referenced in the 1400s.
Jesus.
1427, when an Irish noble was attempting to oppress a British duke, and the duke was so impressed with look at the Irish. I can't do the
impress.
accent.
You said impress.
Yeah.
I thought you said oppress a
no,
British dude. And I was
impress.
like, how are they gonna pull this shit off? But all right.
He was so impressed he gave the dude money to open a bread bowl shop in what is now known as the city of Dublin. But
No shit.
its
Oh,
history
wow.
is but this is saying that its history though is just generally tied all the way back to ancient Rome, Greece, Mesopotamia,
Damn.
where they invented bread and then they invented pastries where they would put meat, fruit, nuts, anything into the bread. It came wrapped. So, they didn't have a lot of paper back then. It was just a way to
okay, first of all, you know what? Fuck it. I stand corrected.
Me too.
Right
Me too,
now,
for sure.
but I that's not what I was expecting. But the thing about yes, meat pies and stuff, sandwiches and stuff like that. I know we're very practical. You put everything inside of there, smush it down, carry it with you, pull it out, eat it all at once. That when you're on your break from the poop farms or whatever. I mean, that hits. That all hits for me. I just the bread bowl just struck me incorrectly, obviously.
Well,
as a like American excess.
Yeah, but I
thing.
wonder what our version is compared to, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, there's way more cream.
There's way more cream. I bet it's a way bigger bowl, and there's only a slight difference between stew and the filling of some meat pies. So I can't help but feel like you're still sort of right that what you're talking about or what you think of when you say bread bowl is probably the most ridiculous product at what's that white woman coffee shop?
Panera bread.
Panera bread.
It's fucking it's hospital cafeteria food.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they have bread bowls.
They do have bread bowls. And yes, you're right. That's exactly the type of thing I was thinking about. But also I gotta be honest here, like I think we've talked about this before, like off mic. I do good bread, of course, does hit for me, but I've never been one for like a lot of it in any given scenario. What I mean is like the bread is always like even on a sandwich, like if I got like a big
it's just there for the meat.
It's a vessel to
I
deliver
can't stand it
the
when
meat and
but
cheeses and stuff to
but a
my-
bowl
to
is a
my
vessel.
mouth. But you're not hearing me. I'm saying I don't. The
In
bread
other
is
words, it's
the
fun.
bread is so ancillary to the other hits in most cases where bread like pizza. I like thin crust pizza.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if I had a big sub roll and I was going to make a sub sandwich at home, I would rip out the innards of the roll to where it was basically just a bread shell
Yeah.
filled with meat and mayonnaise and cheese and stuff. Like that's kind of how I operate with bread and always have. So an entire goddamn bowl made out of bread is just way too fucking much for me. I'm still going fat. I'm still going to shame and defile myself, but I want to do it on the stew, the broccoli cheddar, the clam chowder, whatever is in there. Bring me 3 times as much of that. And keep the goddamn bread. That's all I don't want people to think I think I'm above it. No, I'm still gonna run.
You're a trash piece of shit.
I'm a trash can. Exactly.
I know. I'm with you because like the amount of carbs and calories in that bread bowl, I could just have 2 more servings of broccoli cheese soup,
which would hit harder for me than having the bread. Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I eat bread bowls just like with you just get when you get to the bottom, you get a little bit of wet bread in there, and then I just don't feel bad about not eating the rest. But I totally understand what you're saying, that you're just eating a shit ton of bread. Yeah, I was $9 for what's free with any other meal.
Yeah, if I made like a homemade bread bowl situation, it would end up being worse because like I definitely would over the course of the night finish it. It's just like I'm never gonna get a to-go box. Hey, can I take this wet bread home with me? Like that just feels weird. Also, hey, I may be about to expose myself and maybe get some heat from some people, but when you do biscuits and gravy, do you just douse it in the gravy and make it all soaked, or do you dip the biscuit in the gravy?
Oh, I douse it. I like it like that. I like more gravy than Andy.
I dip for the most part.
That's just, do you end up
I end up eating way
finishing
more
the bowl of gravy with a spoon or something? Because
yeah, but here's what happens is I end up eating more biscuits because of it.
For sure,
I'll end up eating instead of like 2 biscuits comes with it or whatever. I'll end up definitely eating at least 3. But like I don't know why, I like the biscuit to stay crispy and have the crunch with the gravy. That's really the only reason why.
I hear you on that, but I like the biscuits like ripped up, basically.
Yeah,
spread out, and then the entire thing just
I like
drowned.
I like it like meat
gravy.
It's like meat, cookies, and milk is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
that hits for me. Yeah, it does hit for me. I want some of that right now. Too. Actually, I kind of, on God, want a bread bowl. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I didn't have one in a while. It's like, man, I've come around on a lot of shit in the past couple of years. I don't know, hell. But your boy's down 20 pounds, so I ain't trying to have just motherfucking too much bread. I've been doing all right.
Yeah, you do look skinny and good, baby.
Thank you, my friend. Yeah, it's gonna take 40 pounds for any of it to come out of my face, but that's just how that goes.
Yeah. Mine's my gut.
I've got we can have it won't be an argument because I respect both sides of this, but since we fat, we could talk about fat stuff for a minute. I've been Katie bought a Peloton bike, whole different conversation. Part of me knew as soon as she got it, we've had it for a while now. And part of me knew as soon as she got it, I was like, I'm going to fuck around and end up getting in better shape out of spite almost because like,
you're going to want to pay for it.
Exactly. I was like, I know what's going to happen. She ain't going to be using it enough as far as my standard, right? Like I'm going to be upset she's not using it more once she's gotten it. And I'm going to be going out there and using it, like I said, almost out of like, well, somebody's got to use this goddamn thing.
Right.
Like I thought that before it even showed up. And I have been using it like a motherfucker. I'm on it. I mean, literally every single day. Mm-hmm. And I definitely am losing weight, but I have no idea how much, and I don't want to know. And here's the subject at hand, Corey. Here's where I know that we differ because I've been around you when you're trying to do better and whatnot. You get on the scale like every day, right? Or thereabouts, like very frequently. Check it.
I did at the beginning, and then I was losing like, it would be like you drop weight real quick at the very beginning, but since then, like it's like a once a week thing for me because I want it to like when I step on it, I want there to be like a right. Like, oh well,
that last thing is the main. That's why I don't ever hardly get on it. I could tell if I know I am losing some weight. I don't want to get on there and think that it's a number that isn't
good enough.
I don't want to. All it's going to do is discourage me, I think. Yeah. Like, I think there's almost no way I'm going to be encouraged by it.
No.
So I think it's counterproductive. And also, what's it matter? I'm doing the shit either way. So either way, I feel no need to track it meticulously. But I know a lot of people are not first thing every morning they get on the scale. They like track that shit and whatever. And maybe you should, but I'm just not for it.
I used to, and it never ends good. And for 2 reasons. If I ever, because here it backfired on me a lot. If I got on there and like one day, let's say I had like really done some work and I lost a lot, then I would be like, well, I can get some pizza. Like I can get a lot of pizza tonight. And then I would gain double that shit back because like I'd go on like a food bender. But for me, I've finally just listened to the advice of all the people who have been saying this for fucking years, which is like, if you change your lifestyle and you start feeling better, that's the thing, that the weight will come off. But it does, the weight, the number shouldn't be the thing that you worry about. It's how you feel and how you look. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause like sometimes it's like one week you're going to lose 5 pounds and then one week you're not going to lose shit, but do you feel good? And the answer to that is I feel amazing. So I'm like, I'll look at it, you know, like I did look at it today, but like I hadn't looked at it in a while. Like it stays under our bed, not every day, but yeah. You know, I'm trying to feel good. My pants fit. Like that's how I know. Every day I'll go further back in the drawer and pick a pair, and I'm like, let's see. And I'm like, okay, you know, this time last year this wasn't happening.
I put on jeans for the first time in months.
I'm wearing them right now.
the other day, to go somewhere out, you know, in public or whatever. I don't remember, but I just needed jeans on, and I hadn't worn them in forever. And my belt, like I went beyond the furthest. I went beyond the furthest notch on my belt, which like when I was wearing jeans regularly and 4 times, I wasn't even in the furthest notch. I was in like the second or third one out of like 6.
So you lost like 3 notches.
That's good.
Or gained. It lost, right?
Yeah.
Lost, yeah.
I like the scales. My mother-in-law has them, and when we were home for 6 weeks, what I found to help me with, number one, I need to know it's working or I won't keep going.
But that's kind of my point though, is like you can get like discouraged, like it isn't working. It just because if what you see isn't like what you think it should be, it'll make you feel like it's not working, which will make you not want to do it, even though
it'll make me work harder.
Is working.
It would make me work harder, I think.
Okay.
And then number 2, I guess related to that, I was stunned to see the day-to-day of what 2 nights of beer drinking will do to a person. Mm-hmm. Like I was like, oh wow, like that's I don't even feel like the beer itself weighed that much. It's all still in me.
Sometimes it can go the opposite though too, because the beer will, like once you shit and piss all that out, the beer will dehydrate you so much. Like I've gone on a bender and like lost 4 pounds because like I didn't eat nothing. I just drank.
I always eat when I drink. It don't matter how much. It don't matter if it's beer. It's a weird thing. I can't. It don't fill me up.
Once I'm done, like about to go to bed, if I don't pass smooth out, then I'll eat. But like when I'm drinking, I'm motherfucking drinking. That's just all it is.
You know, we've talked before about leaving like notes to yourself. You know, I keep this list of things we can talk about on the podcast. And normally we were talked before about like having ideas in the middle of the night and writing them down. They never make sense.
Yeah. That facts me a halibut moments.
Yeah. There you go. Facts me a halibut moments. Well, normally I don't ever do that if I'm conscious. Like this was not a sleep thought. We were watching The Crown and I made a note for something to talk about on the podcast. But I don't remember at all. And I wasn't drunk or anything. I mean, I was probably a little bit high. Maybe I was higher than I thought I was. But I can't make heads or tails of this, but I'll just read it anyway. Maybe y'all can help me figure it out because of it. Part of it is because of the very raven and pretentious fashion in which I wrote this note.
Yeah.
So we're watching The Crown. Starts with a quote. I know this is from a scene in The Crown with a newsie in it or something, but here's what it says. So quotation marks, all caps. Extra, read all about it. Okay. Close quote.
Yeah.
And then it says now in lowercase. So it's extra, read all about it. And the death of pop culture intricacies.
Okay.
I am wholly insufferable.
So
like that's like me like jotting that down.
Yeah.
Like so just jot that down. We'll talk about that later.
I'll remember.
Why would I write that way? It's just a note for myself, and now I can't.
I bet
heads or tails of it.
I bet I can at least figure out why you wrote it the way you did. That was you thought of a bit, and on stage you were going to play the newspaper boy, and so you put it like that. So like. And knowing you, you were probably going to try to the death of what?
pop culture intricacies.
You were such a motherfucker.
I know, it's unreal. It's unreal.
You were probably going to do a period piece joke, which is so you. I mean, not that I've done that too, but like, and you were going to play the newspaper boy, but I can't figure out like why the fuck. Yeah, I don't know, son.
Well, it was on the.
You're too smart for your own good.
I think this is probably way off. I'm literally just trying to figure it out now. I think maybe it had something to do with like when we were younger. I think what I meant was like maybe pop culture artifacts or something.
You're in the Diana years too.
Like, you know how the save button is a floppy disk, right?
Yeah.
Which it always has been. So we think nothing of it, but really that doesn't make any sense anymore and hasn't for a long time. Right.
Yeah.
I think maybe it was along the lines of that, meaning like, but I don't know. I'm speculating about my own thought process now, but it's like, you remember like back, like extra, read all about it. That used to be kind of like, that was like a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like people could say that, you could say that in daily conversation.
Why would kids know that now?
But it can't be anymore. It only exists in like period pieces. Like nobody in middle school, nobody's showing up in junior high, finding out their buddy got a hand job and then saying extra, read all about it.
Unless
Maggie jerked Tommy off, or whatever. Like, but
I don't know. They might, because we did, and it's not like that was in our lives.
Right.
Because
was
like
decades before we were kids.
it's like
That's
that.
True.
It's like that. The monkeys getting sprayed with the hose.
That's it. You've helped me.
Boom.
That's what it means. That's what it means by and the death of pop culture
there
intricacies.
You go. There you go.
At what point do they die?
Yeah.
Because that's what I was thinking of. What you just said. I was thinking like we used to use that as kind of a reference point. Not all.
Smear the queer too.
But it was a reference point. But we were already 50 years removed from fucking actual newsies who said that shit.
Yeah.
So at what point does something die off? You know what I mean? Like how long does something stretch out when it
movies,
pop culture reference points and things like that? That's what it was.
Here's the thing.
We found it. That's what I want to talk about.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing though. That does hit. I'm glad that I help you with that. But like, here's the thing. Extra, read all about it. Like when I hear that, I think of Cinderella Man, and I think they're never going to stop making movies about that time because the Depression and because the Industrial Revolution and because all that sorts of shit. So like, and that's always such a signaling phrase of the times. Like you're always going to have that in those movies. So like, honestly, that's why it sticks around, and it probably won't go anywhere until I don't know how long in the future we go before people aren't writing movies about the 20s, like our 20s anymore, but like it'll probably stick around for a little bit longer.
That just has become a cliche. And I not all cliches are pop culture references, but I would say that most pop culture references that last, I mean, at this point, isn't Karen a cliche?
Yeah, but it's neat. I don't think that'll stand the test of time.
I'm not, whether it will or not. My point is, a pop culture, I think all pop culture references are cliche, and if they last, they become cliche.
They have to be.
I'm getting at.
No, I understand what you mean. Like when people talk about something being hack or like, oh, that's so blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, well, that's it. That means it really hit at the time, which is why it was copied so many times, or why it's said like.
And I don't think those will die, Trae, but I think in some ways that's kind of what memes are. Some memes, like I think it's changing, but I don't think that.
I agree with what Corey's. I mean, I saw this in The Crown, which is brand new. It just came
that's
out.
what I'm saying to help my point.
I get what Corey's saying. The way I was thinking about it, and maybe there are other better examples, is it's like, at what point does it become like I don't ever remember not understanding that reference point. I'm sure I didn't when I was 6 or 7, but I can remember like as a kid, extra, read all about it was fucking, like I knew what that meant. Kind of always, like when I think about it, I always knew what that meant and what that was and whatever else. And it's like, at what point is that no longer true? People are confused by things because this isn't the exact same thing. But like I was when last time we went to Waynesboro, which fucking a year and a half, 2 years ago now or
Good
whatever.
for you.
But we were thanks COVID. But we went to the nursing home to visit Kay's great grandpa or whatever. And when we were in there, there was a payphone on the wall, just a regular phone on the wall.
Mhm.
And, you know, I was like, hey, boys, check that out. You know what that is? You know what that is? And they had literally they had no idea what it was at all. And they, you know, they didn't even have a guess. No one even thought, is that some kind of phone? Like, it wasn't like that. They literally had no idea what this convoluted machine was. You know what I mean? But now they know. Now they know, because I saw one and I told them they're not that old. If they see another one now, they're going to know that's an old timey phone. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like to them, that was us looking at a
know.
Cracker Barrel, like the walls of a Cracker Barrel.
Right.
When I was way younger, like when I was like young, like, oh, I say young, probably like 8th grade or 9th grade, when I first started like, I'm going to like actually put my funny ideas onto work pages and start writing things like you're supposed to do when you're a comedian. The first sketch concept I ever wrote was Superman. It was present day Superman, and something happens and he can't change out of his clothes because they've taken all the phone booths away.
Yeah,
because we didn't need them anymore because of cell phones.
Yeah.
And that just reminded me of that. But
hell, like that's pretty clever. How old were you?
Like 8th or 9th grade.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because like cell phones had just become a thing. Like, well, I mean, that's not true. People my age was starting to get cell phones. Is why it like
okay. That's right there. You go. That's another, like the Doctor Who thing, the TARDIS or whatever. Yeah. Right? It's like a British phone box. Isn't that what it's supposed to be? So like, but like newer, young, like kids who see Doctor Who for the first time now and see the TARDIS, they're not going to have any fucking clue. They're just going to think that's a time machine thing.
There's an explainer.
Not gonna know what it's based on.
There's an explainer
on every episode.
No, not on every episode, but like it's come up more than once. You know, whenever he gets a new companion or meets somebody new, oftentimes it'll come up, which is the TARDIS originally. At whatever point in time he traveled to, it would try to disguise itself of the era to blend in, and he traveled to whatever era that was, and the fuse broke. And he never fixed it because it hit for him. The call box hit for him.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. I wasn't even thinking about an in-universe explanation for it. Although now that you mention it, yeah, they would need one. I don't really watch that show, but that's that cool that they had that. But yeah.
Yeah. It just like, he's like, oh, this hits for me. I like the police call box. So yeah, it just stayed. That show does hit. It is wild as fuck.
I've watched like maybe 5 episodes of that first revival season from 2005 or whenever that was, just to check it out. And it didn't not hit for me. And it is wild. It was like wild and campier and goofier than I thought it would be. But yeah, I was just overwhelmed by the sheer number of them, I think. And I just didn't.
Yeah. For the record, I love that first guy, Chris. I can't remember his last name.
Eccleston.
I did like him, but like, if you were just kind of, whatever on it, if you can make it to the next season when David Tennant steps in, as much as I like Chris Eccleston, like David Tennant is so goddamn good. Like it just he's so good that I literally don't even see him as Kilgrave as Doctor Who, even though I saw him as Kilgrave first, which is a tremendous fucking performance. Like he's just amazing. So like I would suggest it. And also the good thing about that show is entirely episodic. So if you're 20 minutes into one and it don't hit, fuck it. Just, watch the next. Cause like there has been a couple where I was like, all right, I can suspend my disbelief with the fucking best of them. I'm a wrestling fan, but fuck this. And just, go to the next one. Who cares? It's self-contained. But yeah, that's why the TARDIS is a police call box.
There you go. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I mean, you just want to say fuck it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go eat a goddamn steak.
Yeah,
I'm making them ribs. Y'all ever made ribs in the oven?
No,
I gotta get a smoker.
I haven't, just because.
No, ribs in the oven are easy.
Oh, I'm sure they're good.
Well, I said they're not easy because they take a long time, but I mean, works really well. It's relatively foolproof. Yes, put the rub on them, take the membrane off, put the rub on them, wrap them in foil tightly, put them in the oven on low heat. I don't remember exactly, like 250 or something low like that.
Up.
And for like 3 hours though, low and slow, if you want it to fall off, if you want it to fall off alone. No, and then what you ought to do, if you don't have when they're done, you should take them out, put sauce on them, and put them on a grill. If you don't have a grill, put sauce on them and put them under a broiler on
that's what I was going to do.
A couple of minutes, and then they're ready. But no, that works like a charm. They don't have ribs are good that way. That's like how if you go to like a restaurant like a chain restaurant or something, that's probably how they're doing it. You don't have to have a smoker necessarily or anything. They hit like that.
All right, I'm in.
I'm way too hungry to continue on with this podcast, so I'm gonna go make steak. Love y'all. See you. Bye.
Ski. Love you. See you. Bye.
They're the